Welcome to this super special sales booster webinar. Today, I am going to share with you a 12 days of giveaways campaign strategy that was recently featured on Meta using a brand new automation tool that just came out this year. But before I get started onto that, let me introduce myself to you. My name is Amber. I am the CEO and founder of an award-winning chatbot agency called Ad Social. We have taken home actually best chatbot of the year in 2021 and 2022 here in Australia. We are passionate Manychat ambassadors, and we have spoken several times, or I have spoken several times for Manychat over the years, sharing my knowledge on the platform as I have a dedicated focus on learning and understanding the ins and outs of conversational marketing and chat marketing. So in terms of recent accomplishments, Meta has labeled us as disruptive marketers, which is pretty cool considering that we are a tiny little agency in the most isolated city in the world, which is Perth, Western Australia. To have our work recognised by such a juggernaut was definitely a career milestone. And in fact, the piece of work that they did highlight for us was what I'm going to share with you today. So really looking forward to being able to dig deep and share this information with you. So in terms of setting expectation for what's going to happen today, I will run through some stats with you, give you a little bit of information in terms of what it has worked, what people have done previously, and then we'll lead into this exciting new feature that Meta has released on Messenger. And I will share with you the exact use case and tactical steps that you can take yourself to implement a 12 days of giveaways campaign. So let's get started. Alrighty, so number one, Meta is the top performing platform for online discovery, taking over e-commerce and search. So what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that if we're looking to connect with the masses, we want to do so on Meta. This is where audiences are doing all of their pre-purchase research, and this is where you have an opportunity to make that consumer brand connection. But you already know that, right? Now, holiday sales stats you need to know. Number two, add to this that 44% of holiday shoppers surveyed value a personalized shopping experience when shopping online. So, yep, that means that 44% of people like receiving ads and content that speaks to their interests. I certainly know that I do. I love being able to have ads delivered to me with things that I'm actually interested in. So I'm all in favor of ads that speak to my interests. 1 in 4 holiday shoppers use meta messaging apps to connect with brands. So this is a great opportunity for you to be able to build consumer persona profiles. Now, what does that mean? That means that every person that you are engaging with in a conversation, we can build up a persona on them in the back end of Manychat, which identifies different topics that they might have connected with. They might have connected with certain products. So you can build all of this by tagging and segmenting different parts of the conversation that you have so that you can extract that data later and build that into your ongoing marketing strategy. And 63% of shoppers who connected with a business on Meta during a mega sales day made an unexpected purchase. So what that means is that anybody who has connected with a sales promotion, or 63% rather, who have connected with a sales promotion via an ad or a piece of content that was delivered to them unexpectedly, ended up making a purchase. So if you're not using Messenger to re-engage with those people, you are missing out. And whilst today's session isn't on Shopify remarketing, I definitely encourage you to check that out on the Manychat website for those of you who are running e-commerce businesses, just to be able to continue on with that sales conversion during those mega sales day. But let's not cover that now. We've already got too many other things to discuss. Alrighty, so let's get into some traditional methods of advertising during the holiday season. Plenty of these you have more than likely done before. So I'm assuming that none of them are new to you. So let's get into email campaigns. Look, you and I both know that email open rates have been rapidly declining. And the reason for that is it's a saturated space. It's been around for a long time. Lots of people do this now, and a lot of emails just tend to flood our inbox, really. I know that I'm definitely guilty of hitting delete on any spam emails. I might have some of the brands that I know that I will purchase from that I will open, but the majority of them definitely go into the trash can. So, and that's also reflective in terms of the data as well. So, at the moment, open rates are hovering at around 20%, depending on the industry, and click-through rates rarely exceed about 4%. So is email effective? Should it be forgotten about? Look, don't forget about anything, but it's certainly not the most impactful way to communicate with the masses in today's modern times. So landing pages, oh my goodness, landing pages. Ugh. Everybody knows traditional marketing. You take a consumer from social media, you bring them onto the website. Has worked, certainly not ineffective, but it is definitely fueled with lots of challenges as well. So in terms of user journey, the person will come from a post or from a targeted ad campaign. You drive them onto your website. And once they're on the website, they really have to try and locate the products themselves. And then they might go through into an automated remarketing funnel back through email. So the challenge with that is once they come onto the website, if they don't automatically convert, the abandoned cart mechanism might be through email. And as we just touched on then, email open rates is about 20%. So businesses who are still using that traditional way of marketing onto the website are definitely leaving lots of money on the table. The challenge with that as well is by taking a person onto a website, drop-off is significantly higher when consumers are looking at products or browsing products on a website. Now, once they drop off from the website, for you to be able to deliver another ad through to them, even if it is a dynamic ad that is going to show them the exact product that they were looking at, you have to pay to send that ad back down into the news feeds, which is a problem because it's not best utilization of the budget. Okay, SMS remarketing or SMS marketing. The average click-through rate on SMS is only 6%. So there's also obviously the added fees with that as well. And in our experience, when we were just doing generalist marketing before we converted over to being a chatbot only agency, we actually saw a significant decline in SMS open rates because we had to put URLs to really be able to bring people into or guess educating people into the full scope of a promotion. We had to drive them onto a landing page because there just wasn't enough text character spacing available within the SMS message. So people are just reluctant to click on unknown URLs, and I think that it's really to be expected. There's lots of spam. There's lots of people that are doing the wrong thing that's out there. So having those URLs definitely makes it a little bit scary for people to interact with. And that's probably also, I guess, directly aligned to that disappointing 6.16% CTR. And lastly, retargeting ads. Look, retargeting ads are great. However, as I had mentioned previously, they are quite expensive, especially because Meta advertising is a bidding system, so an auction system. So come the holiday season, it's peak traffic. So you've got a lot of competitors that will be trying to market to your same audience, and the costs are going to elevate with that. And for those who have been doing retargeting ads onto websites for a while, you will also know that this has been impacted by the iOS 14 changes, making it really challenging to attribute what was successful. For anybody who isn't familiar with that, just jump on and do a little Google search for iOS 14, and you'll see that there has been some changes in terms of what is trackable and what is not. All right. So, how is the Meta system helping you drive demand this holiday season? So let's take a look at the new system Meta has to help you really stay in the game this holiday season to increase engagement and sales. Businesses are driving holiday discovery with the Meta Discovery Commerce System, which is an end-to-end integrated solution that helps you build demand for businesses, or helps build demand for businesses by matching products to people. So each of its components combined to make Meta an effective place to drive demand this holiday season. So it's also important to consider these for your messaging campaigns. So as you may or may not know, Meta is driven by machine learning, and it's fueled by a deep understanding of people's interests, preferences, and behaviors. So I strongly encourage you to speak to people's unique needs. We also would encourage you to shorten the path to process, which automation does. It guides users through the product information, and you can also take payments now within Messenger as well. So the less or the least amount of resistance, the least amount of steps that a person has to take to be able to complete a purchase is always best practice when designing user experience for sales-driven campaigns. In fact, really for any campaigns. So we also encourage you as well to use conversion tools that will help people move from the discovery to purchase. And as I had mentioned, often they can do that without leaving the app. As you may know, you can embed payment gateways within chatbots and within Manychat chatbots using PayPal or Stripe as an example. So being able to do that, you can bring them into your sales funnel, monitor where they're at within their conversion journey. And if they haven't completed the purchase, you can program your bot to send them automated reminders. And also remember, when you are creating your campaigns this holiday season, to make it immersive and entertain shoppers. You know, you have a brilliant opportunity because people are on social media, interactive, having fun, really open to discovering things that are going to entertain them. So when you are creating your ads and your content and even your chatbot user experience, really keep that front of mind to be able to have something that is exciting, which, I mean, chatbots do. It's nice and interactive, which is great. This will also help you go beyond vanity metrics too. So, you know, no longer are you showing your clients, look, I've got 1,000 likes, which doesn't put money in the bank. You're going to show them that you have 1,000 people that are actually talking to their business, 1,000 people that you've been able to pull their user data and build up their shopper profiles. So it's make sure you keep that front of mind. Also, make sure that you are using optimization and measurement solutions as well. And this will just help you be able to achieve and exceed your holiday goals. So when you are combining the Meta Discovery Commerce System in with chat automation, you're really delivering a unique experience that people will feel inspired by during this holiday season. So, guys, meet reoccurring notifications, one of Meta's brand new features that was released out of beta in 2022. It's comparable to email, comparable in the sense that it is a one-time opt-in for individuals to then say to brands, keep talking to me. I want to hear from you. And the frequency that they can opt in for is either one time again in the future, daily, weekly, or monthly between a period of 6 to 12 months. It's currently free, which means that it's incredibly powerful when you compare 90% open rates to its email comparison of just 20%. It's super impactful, which is awesome. It's also available to all business pages. There's nothing that you need to do to get it set up. It's instantaneous. As soon as you connect your Manychat account and Facebook Messenger through to the Facebook business page. So yeah, guys, super cool. Let's move on. Okay, so reoccurring notifications is dubbed the email of today's modern era. Why? Well, let's have a look at some really important metrics. Reoccurring notifications outperforms both email and SMS. And it's not surprising, really. It's not saturated. It's something new. And people don't like having unread messages left within their Messenger account. Reoccurring notification open rates are 79% higher than SMS. Click-through rate is 3.5 times higher as well via SMS, and a massive 20 times higher than email. Now, there are plenty of ways that you can get people to opt in. So let's just take a minute to explore some of these. QR codes. QR codes make it easy to start conversations in Messenger from offline locations such as in-store signage, product packaging, direct mail, and more. The Facebook chat plugin makes it easy for people to start conversations with your business whilst browsing your website. And as I mentioned, don't forget, for those of you who have e-commerce websites, jump onto the Manychat website and look up the Shopify integration. Definitely a high recommendation for automated remarketing as well. So you can get people to opt in through commenting on your Facebook posts by using the comment growth tool. So you can make comment growth tools so that they are linked to a particular post, or you could also make it fire if anybody sends a message on any of the posts that you load, whether they're paid or organic, to your Facebook page. You can use a URL growth tool. Now, a URL growth tool can be placed within emails. It can be placed within social media posts. You can, really place it on your website, connect it to buttons. You can provide URLs to third-party stakeholders as well. If you've got other people that are trying to amplify your competition or your giveaway, you can share the little URL that is unique to them. And of course, you can use it with ads too. So those of you who have attended my presentations previously, I have done a couple of prezos for Manychat on best practice for paid performance on both Messenger and on Instagram. So if you'd like some tips for that, feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn, and I'm happy to share with you those presentations as well. There are so many different ways that you can set up ads using chatbots. You can use a JSON code, which is a growth tool that is available within Manychat. You could set it up with URLs. You could set it up with keywords. There's a multitude of different ways that you can trigger an ad so that people can come through and opt in for reoccurring notifications. And of course, you can make it nice and easy for people just by adding a keyword that when people send you a message directly, an opt-in form launches, or an opt-in reply launches for them. talked about their stats with you. I've given you some ideas in terms of ways that you can gain subscribers for reoccurring notifications. We've even discussed what reoccurring notifications is and shared some amazing stats with you. So I think we should just get into now how to build it. Let's get into the use case, and I will share with you now some tactical tips and give you a little look into the back end to show you how you can build this amazing 12 days of giveaways campaign this holiday season to interact with the masses. Just a quick disclaimer. Whilst this strategy was used for a digital marketing company, the methodology will work for any industry. You just need to make a few changes and modifications. So, in short, the strategy remains the same, but you just need to make a few changes, potentially match with your audience and your industry needs. And shortly, I'll also give you some ideas for some different industries. Okay, so let's get to it. In your toolkit, so the things that you are going to need to be able to build this 12 days of giveaways campaign. You will be using the comment growth tool, which is a trigger that will start conversations with customers who comment on your Facebook posts. You're going to need to have 12 days of prizes or giveaways or tidbits of knowledge or anything that your audience is going to find valuable that they will feel inclined to tune in daily for a 12-day period. And we're also going to use reoccurring notifications, which, as I mentioned previously, it's daily. It doesn't cost anything. It's a one-time opt-in, and we're going to send these reoccurring notifications to try and get people to continually opt in every day. And the purpose of that is we want to extract some data from them. And on closing, we're going to use a monthly reoccurring notification. Okay, so the use case that I will be sharing with you today. So Urban List is an award-winning independent digital media company. They share the good life with over 3 million community members across cities in Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore. Through their curated content and experiences, Urban List shares lifestyle and travel tips that give urban adventurers insights into what to buy, eat, and stream, as well as do in all major cities. In simple terms, Urban List grows a social following to resell to businesses looking to advertise their offering to a collective of highly engaged audiences that come to Urban List as a trusted resource. The goal? Well, their goal was to leverage the content that they were creating beyond vanity metrics and to turn the engagement into revenue. So they had a considerably untapped opportunity that was in front of them. They had a highly engaged audience who often commented on their content, which was great for us to then be able to introduce the comment growth tool. They had quality audiences. So by being able to bring them into this funnel, we can tag and segment them. And we were also looking for a way that we could build a brand new communication channel for them, which is how we introduced the direct messages. So as a progressive brand, Urban List is reliant on selling advertising space across their social media platforms, their website, and email. So it's crucial for them as a business to be able to demonstrate to their clients that they have increased engagement and that they are constantly scaling their audience. So I was very keen to start introducing social media automation in with some media houses. So in terms of how the opportunity came about, I reached out to them and I offered them a discovery session, which is something that you can do as agency owners, work on the brands that you feel that reoccurring notifications will work with, and go out and just give them a little rundown. This is very new technology. So a lot of people aren't familiar with the power of reoccurring notifications, and you can bring that insight into their business, explaining how Facebook and Instagram can be used to subscribe audiences to a digital communication channel. You can also highlight to them how comments can be turned into subscribers and how you can tag and segment your audiences so that they can leverage the data that they are extracting from a single content piece into ongoing comms with that person through reoccurring notifications. So the plan was that we would do a short-term trial to test its effectiveness. So we proposed a 12 days of Christmas campaign, so we could pull the data from that to be able to determine the suitability for urban lists to introduce bots into their long-term strategy. We opted to do daily versus weekly or monthly. And the reason for that is we were trying to pull as much data in a short period as possible. And we felt that by making it a 12 weeks or even 4 weeks, 6 weeks or monthly, there was just too far a distance to be able to get that content. So 12 days was kind of better for us. So during those 12 days, Urban List teams created special Facebook posts announcing their new prizes, which were, orientated around some of the things that their fans typically enjoy. Now, when users commented on those posts, the bot triggered via Messenger, it collected the user's details and it entered them into a prize draw. Now, the on-page action was to comment, which was great because it really soared on-page engagement and it increased the visibility of the promotion as it appeared in the feeds of those who commented. Each daily prize had a question which would help build those individual user personas that I had mentioned previously. So do they like X or do they like Y? And the reason for that is because in the future, we want to be able to extract particular audiences that might resonate with another offer. And we want to be able to just communicate to people based on their preferences versus bulk broadcasting to everybody about everything, which, doesn't really provide a great user experience. Being able to talk to people's exact interests and unique needs, again, getting back into those original first slides, creates a better user experience and also will amplify the traction and the results that are received. And then on closing, people were asked to opt in for future comms. This particular element, then we had pushed that out to a later period. So we no longer used daily. We attached a different reoccurring notifications opt-in to be able to get subscribers into ongoing comms. So here is the structure or the breakdown and the different elements that you will need. So we did a pre-promote. A pre-promote is incredibly important because it drives hype before the activation starts. I'm not going to dig too deep on that now because there is some slides that are dedicated to that. You'll be doing 12 different or 13, including the pre-promote feed post that's on there, which will leverage a comment growth tool. You are best to change out the keyword trigger within that comment growth tool each day, just so that it doesn't launch on every single post over and over and over again. So just make sure that you keep them nice and explicit. But again, I'm going to run through a tactical demo, so don't fear too much if that isn't making sense right now. You can also leverage the stories placement too by creating a little URL that you can drop within your stories. And also, use your EDM list as well. If you've got one that's there, it can't do any harm to reach out to everybody on all platforms or all mechanisms that you have. Okay, so In terms of the daily offers, as you can see, we had lots of different opportunities for giveaways that were there, ranging from lunches to hotel stays, festival tickets. And the purpose of this was that we were using the different variances of the prizes to be able to really try and build those user personas. So we were making sure that we had a really broad scope of prizes that were available so that we could attract quite a big audience in this particular instance. Again, getting back into the point that we led into in the very early stages of the presentation, think about what is important to you operationally, your industry, when you are building out your campaign messaging or your giveaway, something that is valuable to your audience that is going to generate you a return on investment if you are able to build that connection. And then we also had a final message, which was the offer to connect into their ongoing digital newsletter. So source tracking, I'm going to actually jump into Manychat with you to share some of, I guess, how we build the source tracking. So for those of you who aren't aware, source tracking essentially is a way that you can identify how many leads or how many prospects, how many conversations are coming via a particular avenue. So the source might be a Facebook post, a Facebook ad, it could be an email, etc., etc. So the reason why we do that is just to make sure that we know what's effective and what's not. And do we put money towards more ads, or are the organic posts generating enough traction? If we've got 1,000 people that have come through a paid ad, are they all converting, or are they lower quality if they're coming from a story versus a feed, etc.? So let me run through how you create this action step for those of you who missed it because I was talking. Let me go back and do that. So you just go into new flow. We're going to go start from scratch. We don't need a template for this. Now, you can call it whatever you like, but we typically will say promo, 12 days give away, and we will say source, and this one might be Facebook post. Facebook post. Now, if we have a little look here, we actually don't need a message. We just want this to click into an action. So this is an action step. And the reason for that is because it's a custom user field that we actually want to update. So if we just go down into set custom field here. Now, this is actually our demonstration Manychat account, guys. So you will see that there are 1,000,001 different custom fields that we have created for 1,000,001 different clients. So just bear with me for a moment. Now, if we have a look down here, I've actually created one and it says Manychat source. So if we just click on that. Now, if we didn't have a source that was already in there, I will show you quickly how to create one. Let's just delete that. And let's just say test underscore source. And if we have a little look here, it'll say new user field. So if this is the first time that you're setting up source tracking, you would just type in source and then new user field. Now, this will be a text response. So we want to leave that as text there. And the reason for that is we're going to swap out that value throughout a variety of different triggers or different source points. So let's just leave that as text. And in this particular instance, we're going to connect this action step to a Facebook post. Okay, so now what we would do here is we would then connect that into our starting flow. And I will run through this with you in a moment. So let's just say giveaway. Get some. There we go. Now, I'll just explain this in a little bit more context for you. So now what we would do is instead of creating the comment growth tool at this level, at the start of the flow level, we actually want to create it from here. And the reason for that is because we want to know if everyone came through the comment growth tool at this level, they came from a Facebook post. And then what we would do with the next one is if it was for an ad, we might create a JSON code and we're going to change that source that's here. So by the end of this particular campaign, we'll be able to identify and have several different filters in place to see which source generated the most traffic. So in this particular instance, we would come down here and we would create our keyword trigger. We'd follow all the prompts, which I'm not going to do right now, but we would follow all of the prompts in this and we would press publish. Now, this particular action step, we'll just go back into this, can be duplicated. Okay, so now we know we've got our trigger point. We have our source that will be connected to every single Facebook post. But I'm curious to know how many people are coming through email. So I'm going to duplicate this source tracking. I'm going to rename. The source now is email. Rename. And we just need to make sure that we go back in here to change out the value. Changing that to email because now we want to track how many people are coming through email. We don't need a comment growth tool. Oh. We don't need a comment growth tool if it's coming through email. So we're going to delete this, but we are going to create a ref URL because we will use this particular URL to drop into our emails. So we can track anybody that came through this giveaways campaign via email through that URL. Now, you can continually do that, so on and so forth, to be able to have different trigger points and different source tracking. If you had a Facebook ad, if you had a keyword trigger from people coming directly, or you might have other people that are participating in the giveaway for you. Okay, so that's essentially how you do source tracking. As I said, super important to be able to understand the metrics and the success of each of the different triggers that are coming through. Now, the pre-promote. A pre-promote is a post that you're going to put out into market the day before or even a couple of days before your actual 12 days of giveaways starts. And the reason for that is because you just want to create some hype around it. We actually discovered through the data that we had collected that we captured 10% of all entrants through the pre-promote. And then we continue to keep them engaged using the reoccurring notifications. So also consider how you could potentially incorporate Instagram as well. You might be able to create a URL growth tool and then bring them back onto Messenger. So let's just jump in to the back end of Manychat, and I will share with you the pre-promote. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, so this here is the pre-promote that was captured. So we did a Facebook post, or the clients did a Facebook post, and this was connected. This was actually connected to a comment growth tool. I've just replicated this and moved this into the Ad Social account so that our clients' data wasn't shared during today's presentation. So it was generalist. Keen to live a good life this summer. First name for anyone who is unsure of how you pull a first name field. Let me just quickly show you. So where it says first name up here, you just click into these little brackets down here. So you would just click into these little brackets down here. Come on. And you can pull in their first name that's down here. And look, we've added some emojis. It's fun, it's playful. Would encourage you to do the same with yours. As I say, a picture paints 1,000 words, and it just brings that authenticity back into the conversation. This is a chit chat. It's not too formal. It's, in celebration of the season. It's fun. It's playful. So be mindful of the copy that you are using through programming too. Now, we have a button that's down here that says want in, tap here, and then we also have terms and conditions. Now, the particular text that for us as a best practice in our agency, the first message button, we always be really explicit that you need to tap here to continue. So rather than just having want in, and people will go, yeah, tap, tap, tap. Yep, I'm keen. I want in. And then it causes problems throughout the programming because you need to assume that not everybody understands how to interact with bots. So by making sure that you have simple things like tap here to continue or tap here to enter, tap here to proceed, tap here to learn more, etc., just gives them that extra prompt to understand what is expected of them. So as you can see here, we have a terms and condition button that is in here. I'm not familiar with what is required internationally, but within Australia, each of our states have different rules that are monitored by the gaming and licensing. So it's best just to quickly jump online and check out their website for what is required. In most instances, a simple just addition of some basic terms and conditions is required, but it's better to be safe than sorry, not only to protect yourselves, but also that of your audiences as well. So in this particular instance, we just have a button that is connected to a website, and we hosted the terms and conditions within the website. We tend to just do a 75% web view. And the reason for that is because the T's and C's will come up within the majority of the view, and they can just click a little cross button, and then that moves them out without having to take them onto a website and then return back into Messenger. So hot tip, give that a go. Now we're moving over into our opt-in. So this is what recurring notifications looks like. So it does have some set text that's in here, which is you may receive additional messages on this topic over the next 6 months. That particular text and the time period changes dependent on whether you are selecting a daily, weekly, monthly, or a one-time opt-in. So check that out. What I might do with you is run through how to create a recurring notification. So we do so just down here in this notification request, and you can create your topics up here just by clicking on create. So your topic name within this particular section could be, in this particular instance, it really is the 12 days of Christmas giveaway, or you might say opt in for 12 days of news or 12 days of value. And then the frequency you select down here, daily, weekly, monthly, or one time. You can load some images that's in here. And you can also set it up so that it's an automated reminder gets sent to them as well when the request expires. So like everything when you are programming on Manychat, it is quite easy to follow, as long as you're making sure that you are reading through compliance and you are checking all of the notes that are within the little info section that's in here, you'll be able to set up those reoccurring notifications. Now, it's important that you don't just end the message there, guys. So if somebody does opt in, you want to thank them. You want to give them something for their acknowledgement of time. I'm just going to delete that to get it back looking good. So in this particular instance, we've just said, got it. We're going to send you a message each day during the competition to let you know what prize is up for grabs, and we've entered it there. So this is just within the pre-promote. Now, anybody who did opt in within the pre-promote now has this particular tag, Urban List Christmas Giveaways. So when we're sending out our daily messages, we're going to use that tag so that we don't get in trouble from Meta, and we're making sure that we're doing everything in compliance. All right, let's get into the daily giveaways. Now, my hot tip to you guys when you are building your daily giveaways, create a template. Create a very basic template that has all of your placeholders within and duplicate and then just swap out the key text. This will save you having to rebuild this flow over and over again. Another option as well, I'll just show you how to do a quick duplication. So once your bot has been built and you're happy with it, you can just click on these three little dots here and press duplicate. Then you'll rename and you'll just swap out the other bits and bobs. Another little hack or trick so that you don't have to continually write these out over and over again is once you are in the editing section, you can press Shift on your computer, highlight all and just Control C and then go into new page, new flow and Control V so that you can copy and paste as well. So thanks, Manychat, made that nice and easy for us. Appreciate it. So as you can see here, we now have the Hey first name. We've been able to pull their user data or their first name data, which is public information on Facebook. So we now have just a stock standard, day 1, which as you would perceive, will change out to day 2, day 3, day 4, etc., etc. And we have entries close, midnight, la-di-da. So this can also be set up as a field that can change as well, but just for ease of reference, we just did that manually. And we're going to say tap to show prize. Again, it's an explicit action, call to action. So we want you to tap here. This isn't just saying show prize. We're saying if you want to see that, you will tap here. And we found that when you are adding in those extra characters or that explicit, this is what you must do, CTR increases. So now this is just a gallery card that's in here. So we've added a single card that's in here. You've got an image. You can have some text and some teaser copy. Tap to enter. Again, nice and explicit. This is what we want you to do. We have those terms and conditions again. And the reason why we have those terms and conditions again is because even though we're going to send this daily draw to everybody who entered in the pre-promote, we're also going to send this via a comment growth tool to new people as we promote daily prizes on the social media feed. So we want to make sure that everyone that is coming through understands what the terms and conditions are as well. So in this particular instance, as I had explained to you, our purpose and our goal for this particular campaign was to be trying to attract as many people as possible, to segment their data and create these persona profiles for them. So we didn't make it a condition of entry to enter an email or submit a phone number, which are steps that you could add. In this particular instance, we just wanted to ask them some questions which would help us identify their kind of personality. So for example, we might have, do you prefer Airbnbs or do you prefer resorts? Or do you prefer fine dining or casual eats? And this just helps us build up their shopper profiles so that we can do some highly targeted or hyper-targeted campaigns in the future. Now, in this next step here, we've got a condition that's in here because if they have already opted in for recurring notifications long-term, we don't want to ask them that again. So if they connected through the pre-promote, or we might be on day 2 and they connected and they opted in for daily messages through the first message, we don't need to ask them again. They've already opted in. So in this particular instance, we've said that if they've already opted in to receive these reoccurring notifications, we're just going to send them a thanks, congratulations, you've entered. But if they haven't, we're going to ask them. We want them to opt in to receive these daily messages. So the other suggestion that I've got down here, as you can see in my notes, is consider adding a tag here. So if somebody clicks within this particular section here, we've tagged it as opted in for the 12 Days of Christmas campaign. Now, if they don't click here, you can also add in a smart delay. So what you do down here is just add in a smart delay that might say within an hour, if that tag, so we're going to add a condition. If that tag, sorry, twelve Days of Christmas. So if that tag 12 Days of Christmas doesn't apply or isn't applicable within 1 hour, we're going to send them a reminder to opt in. So it could be like, hey, we've noticed that, sorry, one moment. We've noticed that you haven't opted in to receive the rest of our daily giveaway. Would you like to opt in now? And little cheat, we can bring this down here and we can just delete all of this. Boom. We don't want to give them all of that message again. It's going to sound silly going back and repeating the same things that we have already spoken to them about. So now we just want to go straight into the opt-in. So tap here to opt in. And we'll go back up in here. So once they tap that, and you can even be clever and add in the same reminders again. Also, just be mindful of best practice, guys. Oops, wrong section. We want that to go in after. Be mindful of not being too spammy. Okay, so 1 hour is pretty good. Even 10 minutes to an hour is pretty good. And then you can bring this one down here. You don't want to go 10 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours. People are going to have a negative experience and they're going to opt out. Okay, so you might want to do this. And then, for example, you could bring this in again and you could do one final closer, maybe 23 hours later, and then just copy and paste. Same process. So 23 hours, same condition. If it doesn't apply, and then you can bring them into that same flow connector here. Doesn't apply, you're going to bring them back in here. Okay. So typically speaking, follow an individual up, maybe twice at most. And then after that, just leave them. The last thing you want to do is create a bad user experience, and then you would just publish. So as I said, once you've got this template that has been sorted, you can then go in and click that hamburger menu to duplicate and to update, or you can go in and just copy and paste.
Okay, everybody, so now let's have a little chat about the importance of tagging and segmenting so that you can establish consumer profiling or personas. Now, within each of the bots that you are building or within this particular 12 days campaign, ask yourself, what strategic value are you giving your client by hosting this particular campaign? So what kind of information can they extract from this particular bot that you have designed for them that they can leverage later on? So for example, in this particular bot, as I have mentioned previously, the client, Urban List, was really interested in trying to identify if somebody was interested in one particular genre versus another. So our entry mechanism was a qualifying question. And within each of those qualifying questions, we had some tags that were in there so that we could segment that data later via custom fields. So as you can see from this particular example, we were giving away some music tickets for a music festival that was on, but we wanted to find out, would people really pick a music festival if they had a choice between that or a food and wine event? So we asked them that qualifying question and we saved that to a custom field. Now, as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen is my persona profile, which has been saved within the contact section in Manychat. So anything that I engage with that has tagging can be then segmented within my contacts profile. So as you can see from here, we have some public data which has been captured. We know that I'm female, which was pulled from my Facebook profile. We have the contact time, and we also have this little ID number here. Now, this user ID number can actually be exported as well from Manychat. And it can be exported to be imported then as a custom audience back into Meta and into Ads Manager to help with your paid strategies. So as you can see, I love a good tag, and I make sure that we have tags within all of our conversational programming so that we can segment our data later to make sure that when we are communicating with bot subscribers again in the future, we're communicating to their direct interest. So as you can see here, we've got, do I prefer chill or action? I'm an action-packed girl. Do we prefer cocktails or wine? Cocktails. Do I prefer entrees versus desserts? I am an entrees girl. I'm always up for a good dance, so I love a music festival, etc., etc. So what we can now do with this data is go into the contact section within Manychat, and you can drop in your filters that's in there. So we can filter to be able to pull out people who have an interest within music festivals, for example, as we might have, or Urban List might have a client in the future that wants to promote to that target audience group. So make sure you're tagging and you're adding that information into custom user fields. So let's jump on into now how to create a seamless user experience. And my biggest tip and advice that I can give you is, if you already know the answer, don't ask again. So that's the beauty of a bot versus just people contacting you within Messenger or within Instagram DMs, is that the bot remembers the conversation that it has had with the audience member previously. So if we already know that they have opted into this 12 days campaign, we're not going to ask them again to opt in. So if you think about that from more of a natural communication experience, if we know that we have already asked somebody a question, asking them that same question over and over and over again shows them that we weren't listening to begin with. Now, even though this is a robotic communication, we want to make sure that it is a personalized experience, that it does feel natural, that the end consumer and the individual thinks that the brand is listening to them and that understands their own personal unique interests. So if you already have that information, make sure that you're adding conditions within your programming so that you are not being repetitive. So as you'll see from within this particular example here, if a user has already opted into the 12 days campaign, which they could have done throughout any of the days prior, or they might have done that during the pre-promote question, we're not asking them again. We're only asking if they are a fresh user that has come through and we know that they haven't already opted in to reoccurring notifications. Now, next, how do you deliver your reoccurring notifications? Well, this is a really important one because it's done through your broadcasting tab within the back end of Manychat. So if we have a little look over here, it's just within this icon and we can set it up here. So there is a little tab that's at the top that will say set up a brand new broadcast or set it up from a flow. We would encourage you to do that from a flow. And the reason being is that you can duplicate those flows that we ran through a moment ago just to save yourself some time and just swap out some of the data or the input text that needs to be changed. So you run through. The most important thing is that you are updating this little field up here to say, look, this message is going to be sent out for outside of the 24-hour window. Now, for those of you who are new to messenger marketing, we do have the powerful ability to be able to automate conversations an unlimited amount of time for up to 24 hours. Now, outside of that 24-hour period, there has to be a validated reason, which is either a tag, which is in compliance with the meta policy, or this reoccurring notifications. So in this particular instance, we are delivering a reoccurring notification opt-in. So within the reason, we're just going to add the tag, the topic that we had assigned to their opt-in throughout this 12 days campaign. So for those of you who are data driven, I can raise my hand to that. The first thing that you will want to do after knowing that your reoccurring notification has gone out is to check the key performance metrics. Now, typically you would find those within the automation section where you've built your flow. However, if the broadcast has gone out via reoccurring notifications, you'll find these performance metrics within the broadcasting histories tab. So just as I've got here on the screen. So as you can see, we'll be able to see how many of your messages were sent, how many were delivered, and the read percentage here. For IP protection for our client, we have removed some data metrics here. But as you can see from the read rates, this is 95%, 97%, 100% throughout. So your open rates are just incredibly impressive with this particular feature available on Facebook Messenger. Another hot tip or best practice tip that you can consider is to schedule these broadcasts in advance as well. So you can set and forget if you're planning on going away over the holiday season. You can get all of this done in advance for either your brand or your client's brand and have it all sitting there in the back end ready to rumble. So the results. Look, incredibly impressive. So for those of you who have been using email marketing, you will know that the average open rates are sitting quite low. Click-through rates are even lower than that. So the results that we received in this particular use case for reoccurring notifications was just mind-blowing. So we had an average click-through rate of a massive 88%. We did have a 10% increase in daily opt-ins. And remember, those daily opt-ins were now coming from the daily posts, which were being shared across the client's social media channels. Read-through rate, 97%. I mean, this was just absolutely phenomenal. So again, when you compare that to email, clear winner, guys, which is why they are probably saying that reoccurring notifications is set to be the new email. And during this particular 12-day campaign, our clients, Urban List, generated a 12,629% increase in new messaging conversations. Now, that's no error. All of those numbers are meant to be there. And this is a massive elevation for them as a business to be able to communicate with their audiences in that one-to-many process in an automated fashion. Now, this particular metric for any agencies out there who are wanting to share that with their clients, you'll actually find this within Meta itself. So to access that metric, you'll go into the page and you'll just click in within the Insights section and you'll be able to see how well that is performing. In case anybody wants to find out some more information, you can also scan the QR code that is on the screen, and this will take you through to the Meta feature story that was done on this use case for AdSocial, our agency, to showcase what we did for Urban List. Now, as you may recall, the purpose of this particular 12 days campaign was to be able to assess the viability for introducing reoccurring notifications into the list of service offerings that Urban List currently provides. So by tagging and segmenting our conversations, Urban List has the ability now to generate a brand new revenue stream in the future, selling advertising space to businesses through their social channels. And they have this ability because they can showcase now that they have a highly engaged audience that can be hyper segmented. They can export user IDs based on interest groups, which can be uploaded as custom audiences for Facebook advertising. They now also have the ability to be able to leverage placements such as sponsored message placements within the Facebook Ads Manager, which is an incredibly powerful, low-cost ad placement where you can send a direct message out to anybody who has interacted with you on Facebook Messenger within the past 365 days. Super powerful. If you haven't yet tried sponsored messages, I cannot encourage you enough to jump on it. Don't overkill it. You know, the last thing that you want to do is to be creating a negative experience or spamming people who have given you the opportunity to connect with them directly. Be quite mindful in terms of the frequency. You might even want to send them, you know, a sponsored message that has a Christmas or a season's greeting or festive messaging, Happy New Year messaging, and then you might tail that end with an offer. And in addition to that, Urban List now also has the opportunity of selling advertising space within a monthly newsletter, which would be delivered via reoccurring notifications. Backed by the data now that they can show their clients that, you know, this particular placement has a 97% open rate, we anticipate that this would be in high demand from the list of businesses that reach out to this media house to be able to advertise to their audience. So all in all, it was an incredibly successful campaign, not only to understand a brand new feature, but also to be able to tag and segment audiences to be able to create a brand new revenue stream. So for those of you who are now excited to use reoccurring notifications, the holiday season is now and will run right through until January. So it's an opportunistic time for brands to connect with consumers, generate sales, and set strategies in place now that can continue that conversation in the new year. So some upcoming sales that you might want to start introducing reoccurring notifications, or potentially a 12 days campaign, is Black Friday through to Cyber Monday. We also have Christmas. And for those countries that are listed within the presentation slide, as you will know, Boxing Day sales are huge. So consider introducing reoccurring notifications now, and then potentially you can also lead them into the next sales promo and ongoing through into 2023. So here is our gift to you. You can scan the code that's on the screen to view the templated flow, and we'll also be providing that through to everybody who has joined us today, which is great. Now, as promised, some ideas if you're in a different industry to that has been shared throughout the use case example today. You might be in real estate, so consider doing a 12 days of property campaign. Retail, you could do 12 days of daily deals. You could do 7 days of daily deals. You know, you can use this particular template to really customize an experience that is unique to your consumer and to your audience. And for those within tourism, this is a great opportunity as holidays commence to be able to do some daily ideas of activities and adventures that families or your target audience group might be able to experience. So there's lots of different use cases that this particular template can be tweaked so that you can find value from it, from your brand and your business. So on closing, I'd just like to summarize some of the key discoveries that we found during our experience with reoccurring notifications that I hope will amplify your campaign's success. So I can't encourage you enough to leverage the comment growth tool. Now, with the comment growth tool, you can pick specific posts, or you can make it so that this opt-in fires on any content piece that is shared on your page when a user drops a comment that's on the page. So the reason being is that they already find your content of value. So you know that they are within your target audience group. So try and bring them in and build up that conversation, as I've mentioned previously, more than just that one-time encounter. The added benefit from using the comment growth tool is that you're actually putting more on-page engagement, which boosts the page's relevancy, and it tells the algorithm that the content that you are producing is of high quality. Now, for those of you who are using paid campaigns to amplify your content, you will know that Meta is an auction system. So typically speaking, if you've got the more money to be able to bid on a placement, you will get the ad placement, except Meta has a disclaimer. And that disclaimer is, if your content isn't engaging, if people aren't commenting, if they're not sending any reactions, you will actually have to pay more for them to put that content within the news feeds or within the placements that you have selected. Therefore, content who might not have as much budget but is showing that their content is highly engaging will actually 9 times out of 10 get precedence in terms of placement. So by tricking that algorithm with the comment growth tool, you're actually encouraging people to be commenting on your post to boost up that relevancy. Make sure you're adding in those tags, guys, and put in smart delays. You have 24 hours to be able to try and convert a single conversation into a longer term relationship. So if they don't opt into reoccurring notifications, make sure that you have a smart delay that's in place that sends them another reminder. Best practice, we typically do it after 10 minutes, and then we'll send them another reminder the following day before that 24-hour period expires. You can try and do maybe 10 minutes, an hour, and then the following day. Know your audience, split test it, see what works, what doesn't work. With all things digital, change it. You can go into your bot and you can change the programming if you're seeing a drop off or if you're seeing an increase in CTR. And lastly, just make sure that you consider frequency. You know, you do have the opportunity to be able to message people daily, but do you want to? You know, are you providing value through to your audience members, or are you going to be spammy? For short-term campaigns, I think that it's highly effective, but my personal opinion is, you know, weekly, even monthly, is sufficient to be able to make sure that you are staying connected and building a valuable relationship that maintains those really good open rates. So that's it, guys. It was a long one today. I thank you for your time. I hope that you have found value from what has been shared. If you do the 12 days of campaign, reach out to me. I'm most actually active on LinkedIn. So look me up, Amber Lee Henriques. Send me through what you've done. Let's chat. Let's stay connected. So good luck. Happy holidays. Really looking forward to hearing about your successes. Bye.